Now, Senate Republicans in the United States have blocked an effort to repeal the law banning gays from serving openly in the military. President Obama had wanted to repeal the existing policy known as Don't Ask, Don't Tell, which has been in force for the last 17 years. It's a major setback for gay rights groups who saw the vote as their last chance to overturn the ban this year. Well, joining us now from our New York studio is Richard Socarides, who was Special Assistant to President Clinton and Senior White House Advisor on gay rights from 1997 to 1999. Thank you very much for joining us. Well, we say some are seeing it as the last chance to overturn the ban this year. Was this really the last chance to overturn the ban?
Well, it looks like the law is going to remain, the actual law is going to remain on the books for some time. What's happened here this afternoon is actually quite extraordinary. You know, we have a president of the United States that opposes this law. You have the American public that opposes the law. We have a majority of Congress that opposes the law, and actually just last month a federal court in California ruled that the law was unconstitutional, but yet minority interests in our Congress today have once again stopped repeal of the law.
So what was the issue? Was there too many other controversial things bundled in this bill? For instance, abortion on military bases?
Well, there were, you know, of course, many other issues, and Washington right now in this political climate is a very complex place. But what the Republicans were successful in doing is clouding the issue. Many Democrats, many people who have been working very hard, including myself, to repeal this law, wanted a clean up or down vote on whether this law should be repealed. But what we got instead was a procedural vote on a much larger bill authorizing expenditures for the entire U.S. Defense Department going forward. There were a lot of other issues. There were issues having to do with women's right to choose. There were issues having to do with immigration. But you know, our main objection to the way this was handled, both our objection with both President Clinton and with Democrats and Republicans, is that we didn't get a clean vote on this. Because if the American people's voice were allowed to be heard, this law would be, you know, on the dust heap of history where it belongs.
You advised President Clinton, of course it was his administration that brought in this policy. What do you think the impact has been of this policy on the military and on gays in the military?
Well, you know, it was a difficult time, of course. President Clinton in 1993 was a supporter of open service, and this was supposed to be the compromise that allowed people to serve so long as they kept their private life private. It never turned out that way because the military didn't live up to their end of the bargain. You know, they started these witch hunts. But we've known for almost 10 years, Democrats in Congress for almost 10 years have supported repeal of this law. We thought 2 years ago, when the Democrats regained the presidency and regained both houses of Congress, that we could move quickly to do away with this law, and that's what we were hoping to do. But now here, 2 years later, we're still stuck with it. There is going to be an effort now, hopefully a very robust effort, to get President Obama to issue an executive moratorium on enforcement of the law, and I think that's where the next sort of field of play will be. Because
thousands of people have left the military since this was brought in so many years ago. 13,000 people discharged under the Don't Ask, Don't Tell law since 1993.
Yes, thrown out, many of them under very difficult circumstances, you know, where you're actually put on trial in this country for being gay.
Okay, well, we appreciate your time this evening. Richard Socarides, thanks very much.
Thank you.